I know exactly what you're thinking because I get this question all the time. What you are thinking is should you be checking your stats, okay, on Insta, on Facebook, on your website all the time? And the answer to this is very simple. No. No. No, you should not be checking your stats. You should not be checking your stats on any of them. And that's like long been my blanket advice, right? Let me make sure I have my right microphone going on here. I didn't check that. Hold on. Da, 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 da. Okay, and that's long been my blanket advice. And the reason that I've said no, you should not check your stats, is because everyone is just getting started. Okay, doing their marketing, sending traffic to their website, and they think they can make business decisions that are actually going to have an impact when they don't have any data yet. This is like something that my customers ask all the time. They're like, Patrick, I've been looking at my web data, I've been looking at my Instagram stats, or I've been looking at my Facebook stats, and I got 9 visits from Pakistan. What can I do about that? I'm like, nothing. You cannot do anything about that. Stop looking at your stats. And that's like literally my advice all the time. And I really mean it. Stop looking at your stats for like a year. Don't even do it, because in the first year, you are not going to have enough data to make a decision that is going to fundamentally move the needle in your business in the slightest. Okay. And that's been my advice for a long time. And I'm sticking to that advice because it's sound advice. But yes, once you start growing a little bit, okay, you do need to start looking at your data, and the data, when you do look at it, will guide some decisions for you. Okay, so what I want to do today on this is I'm going to screen share. I'm going to show some actual Instagram data and stats that matter, that do matter. Okay, it's not exactly fair because I'm sitting on an account with 70,000 followers, and so there's enough data in there to actually be impactful and mean something. But I want to talk about that whole scenario broadly because I think there's a ton that we can learn from it, and you guys can all learn from. I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars of mistakes that I've made throughout the course of my career, thinking early on that I could like look at my stats and like come up with meaningful decisions, right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what network you're watching us on right now, right? Like you could be watching us on LinkedIn right now. You could be watching us on Twitter now, X. You could be watching us on Facebook. You could be watching us on YouTube. You can be watching us on Instagram. All of those platforms are at war with one another. Okay. It is a war for our attention. They measure success in that war by the average amount of time a person spends on the platform and what type of engagement that they do. Okay. Really, engagement is the biggest one because that means you're having a great time. If you're watching a video and you're liking it and you're commenting and you're sharing, that means you're a happy person. So they're going to do whatever it takes, okay, to keep you on that platform doing that, okay, to keep you happy there. And none of them, not any of those ones that I mentioned, want you going to any of the other ones or leaving. And a large portion of what they're willing to do to achieve that can be called charcoal gray shady, okay? By which I mean just about every bullshit metric that they give you, okay? I do not trust a single solitary one of them. I don't like them. I think every one of them could be faked. Did you really get that many views? I don't think you did, okay? I think a lot of people just scrolled right past it and you didn't get very many of those views at all. Did you really get all those likes, all those comments, all those shares, or any of the rest of the metrics? I don't think so. I think the entire thing is just gamed so that we spend more time on the damn platform. And it's okay to say that and just know that that's the case, and be a little bit wiser of a human being as a result of it. Okay. Their job is to keep us on their platform for as long as possible. Your job is not to worry about any of that nonsense. Your job at the end of the day is to say, what are the metrics that I can truly trust, okay, that I know are real, okay, and that I can build a business on. And for the majority of you guys, as artists and photographers, the only thing that matters is the work selling, okay? Are you getting paid for the stuff that you're creating and it's moving? If not, all the rest of those metrics, likes, comments, shares, this engagement, video views, profile visits, link free taps, link tabs, that it's all nonsense. None of it means anything at all. Okay. Because the only thing that matters to you fundamentally is at the end of the day that you're selling the art and photography. That's it. Right. Now, are there some metrics that are upstream from that? right? That you have to be aware of. Yeah. And to that extent, comments are important ones, right? Direct messages are important ones. If somebody's sharing the work, that can be an important one. All of the rest of these things can potentially be impactful, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that the work sells, right? And in and I don't think enough people are honest about this, and I think it's important. The number of followers you have does not matter. Okay, I've got customers on our websites that have over 100,000 followers on Instagram that are getting outsold by people that have under 1,000 followers on Instagram. Okay, why do I bring that stat up? I bring that stat up, one, to encourage you, but two, at the end of the day, the only metric that matters is that one of those followers sees your work, is impressed by it, and goes and buys it, because that is the only metric that matters. None of the rest of them do. Like, I've seen people that have gotten crazy viral, millions of views. And shout out to Rachel, because I always tell Rachel's story because I think it's hilarious. She's a hula hooper. Okay. And I don't even mean she has like a hula hooping channel. Like, she's hilarious with the hula hoop. Like, we'll have Zoom meetings and she'll put the hula hoop on. And she's like, oh my gosh, one of my hula hooping videos went viral and she got like 6 million views. And I'm like, Rachel, how many sales did you get out of that? Goose egg, which means it's worthless. It's a worthless metric. Okay. Now, I say all of this to say, we don't need to get caught up in any of the things aside from the sales. That's number one. Number two, what will inevitably happen as you start marketing on these platforms is the things that you think were really successful and did really well, all they do is get a bunch of tire kickers. All they do is get a bunch of people that will like or comment or share, or stated another way, all that was all of those artists that followed you, they all liked and commented and shared that thing, but you didn't get any sales out of it, right? And so you have to be brutally honest with yourself and say, like, the only thing that matters in all of this content that I put out is, am I getting that feedback? Am I having conversations that will potentially be defined as pre-sales, or am I getting the sales? Okay. So that's kind of freeing in some regards, because one, you don't need a huge following to do that, and two, all these metrics that everyone stresses about, you don't have to stress about. You don't have to worry about them. They're not going to make you or break you metrics, right? So I think that's really, really important to say. Second point, one of the things that I talk about on here all the time, okay, one of the biggest mistakes that artists and photographers make at a macro on all of the social media platforms is photographers love hiding behind the lens and artists love hiding behind the canvas. Insert your medium of choice, right? I come to your social media platform, all it is the art, 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 the art. That's it. Or maybe it's the art, the art, the art, one little one of you doing the art, one of you little doing your process, the art, the art, the art, the art, the art, the art, right? Like, you have to, if you want to be successful on these social media platforms, you need to understand how art and photography sell. And art and photography sale is 50% the art, and it's 50% you. What makes you tick? What makes you interesting? What kind of human being you are? What are your interests? Because human beings make purchasing decisions, especially when it comes to art, on things that they have in common with someone else that they're buying the art from. And if you are not sharing any of those things that you have in your life that are interesting, how is anyone ever going to find out? How is anyone going to even be presented with the opportunity to decide if that is something that they like or they don't like? They never will. And that's the whole point, right? And I want to map all of this back to real stats. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show something to you. Okay. I'm going to show something to you that for me infuriates me, right? But I am contrarian and I understand at the end of the day, okay, you have to give these platforms what they want. When you give these platforms what they want, they give a little back to you. And that is just the game that is played. Okay. And in the example that I just used, you, artist or photographer, need to share a little bit about who you are, about what makes you tick, about what makes you interesting, i.e., a window into your personal world. Okay, most of you guys don't do this, and what most people don't understand, they get upset. Like, I hate social media. I don't want to talk about what I had for breakfast. Okay, how vapid and uninteresting is that? I don't live an interesting life, but all the excuses, right? And what happens as a result of that is you're not giving the platform what it wants. And when you don't give the platform what it wants, it doesn't give you what you want, i.e., you're not going to make any money, right? You're not going to grow the followers that you want, right? Yes, you all have to share a little bit more about you. And again, I say the same line every single solitary time. And I'm going to show you the art storefronts example, okay? But I am you don't need to be a Kardashian. You don't need to have people following you. As soon as you get out of bed in the morning, the cameras are on and following you 24/7. No one's saying that. Okay. All I'm saying is like look, if you're a pet person, show your pet every once in a while, right? If you like paddling kayaks at your local river, show that every once in a while, right? If you're a serious foodie and you love going to the best restaurants in town, show that. If you're into wine, you're into reading sci-fi books, like there is a tribe online for every one of those interests. And all of those interests are like, ooh, I totally have this in common with this person. Amazing. I'm going to like and comment and share on this. And what that does is it charges up your engagement on the platforms, okay, on all of them. And what the platforms say, and again, it could be Instagram, it could be Facebook, it could be YouTube, it could be X. I don't know you guys are marketing any of the rest of the places aside. Let's just talk about Facebook and Instagram because they only do the matter for selling art of photography. When you give the platform what it wants, which is a little window into your soul, you get higher levels of engagement. And as a result of that, Instagram and Facebook go and show your art to more people than they would ordinarily. Now, for you guys, okay, because you are solopreneurs and solo businesses and personal brands, what you need to do is show this little window into your world, right? And, it's funny, over the course of the weekend, somebody was like, and they were doing it well-meaning, but it was like, okay, well then, Patrick, you're giving this advice all the time. Why are you not doing it, right? Why are you not doing it at Art Storefronts? Like, why aren't you showing us what you did this weekend or including your kids in it? And the reason I don't do any of that stuff is this isn't the Patrick Shanahan brand. It's Art Storefronts. It's a company. It's made up of a bunch of individuals, not one individual. So it doesn't make any sense for us to do it. But my advice is still true. And what I'm essentially saying, where you guys, artists and photographers that are individuals, you guys are individual entrepreneurs, individual brands, you have to share a little window into your world, right? It can't just be about your art, and that's enough. And look at any of the greatest artists and photographers that are killing it on Instagram. They all know this instinctively, by the way. Everyone that you follow already knows this and does this instinctively, that has like huge followings. The company version of it, okay, is we have to share content, okay, as a brand at Art Storefronts. And I'm going to give you guys a crazy window into this in 2 seconds because I'm going to screen share and show you guys this. We have to share content whose sole purpose is to charge up engagement such that Instagram and Facebook will show the content that we care about to you guys, okay, to you people that would potentially sign up with us. And when we do that, when we give the platforms what they want, they give us what we want, which is showing our content to a bunch of people that wouldn't see it otherwise. Because like, look, you are not on this platform to have somebody professorially lecture to you like I'm doing right now. Nobody wants to see this. Okay. Nobody wants to hear this. And I'm not a very good looking person. So in order for me to get this to reach your ears, okay, I have to work, that my marketing team has to work on sharing the stuff that Instagram likes. Okay. And I'll just give it an Instagram now, that Instagram likes. And when we do this, we get a ton of action with everything else. So I'm going to screen share. I'm going to show you this because many of you don't know how to look at this. And look, if you're just getting started on social media, my point in showing you guys this is not, is not to have all of you go and look at your statistics right now, which you're all going to do anyway, because I know how the world works. I'm not naive, but it doesn't, you don't need to be looking at your statistics when you're just getting started. When you're just getting started, you just have to make sure you're posting consistently. Okay. But for those of you that are cooking with gas already, I want to show you something. Okay. So this is the Art Storefronts Instagram account. Okay. We're at 70,000 followers. Just hit that. Very pleased with that. That's awesome. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, okay, of your Instagram window, there's what's called the hamburger menu. It's the 3 little lines, okay? And if I click on those 3 little lines, it pulls up this menu, and you see one of the things that I can go and grab are insights, okay? Now, in the insights, this is the default view that you are presented with. It is a view that shows you what has taken place in the last 7 days, okay, which is kind of handy, and it gives you this like high-level view, and you can look at these things. And by the way, you can see how much content was posted. And I want to show this to all of you, okay? Because what is the most important metric that I've said on social media for a long time, right? For most of you, it's number of pieces of content shared per week. So you can see, what did Art Storefronts do last week? 16 posts, 45 stories, 82 reels, 6 live videos. 149 pieces of content. That's even a little bit low for us. It should have been 180, 190. But anyway, I digress. So what I want to show you, okay, is one, you can change the date range in here. And by the way, if you don't have a business and or creator account, you're not going to see any of this in your account. If you just have a personal account and you're like banging your head, like, I don't understand. This guy showed me this. Like, it has to be a business and or a creator account. Okay, done with that. But let's say you get into this default view and you're going to go content you shared that you see here in the middle. Okay, and I want to click see all. And when I click see all, what this does is this opens me up, okay, into a view where Instagram is going to show all, of course, unexpected error. Has to be when I'm streaming. Okay, let me refresh. So what it's going to do is it's going to show me all of my content that I've shared from the last 7 days. In the default view, okay, is accounts reached. And you can see there's these two little sliders, okay, up and down. Now I'm going to hit those little sliders. And instead of, you can see it's a sort by highest, by the way, and then the metric is accounts reached. I don't care about accounts reached, okay? I care about accounts engaged. And to be honest with you, these are both the same metric at the end of the day, accounts reached. Like, the more engagement you get, the more accounts you're going to reach, right? That's what it is. So I'm going to do that. And then instead of the last 7 days, you guys, to make this like really pronounced, to make my point here, I'm going to go last 3 months, which is crazy, okay? So what Instagram is now going to show me is it's going to show me my content, okay, that has gotten the highest level of engagement for the last 3 months, right? The last 3 months. And what do you see? Do you guys see what the content is? Do you understand what it's showing you here? It's showing you that the content that got the highest level of engagement, i.e. the stuff that Instagram really likes, are stupid quotes, okay? Are stupid quotes with artist face on them, right? Like, how are those the ones that get the most engagement, right? And I'm going to have to rant for a second, then I'm going to come back and show you some more stuff here. Do you know how infuriating this is for me? I look at that content, okay, you guys, and I'm like, how does that help me out at all? All it is an artist with a famous quote from them put onto Instagram. And it is getting by far the most engagement. That is not helping me sell my art, sell our software, sell our services, sell what we do at art storefronts. All that is doing is getting a bunch of people to like and comment and share on some nonsense, a stupid quote title. Okay, that is how I feel about those things. But again, I'm contrarian. I understand that is what the platform wants. That is what the platform is asking me to create. Okay, those quote titles, okay, which are the most engaged with content that we put out as a brand. I mean, by the way, do you know how defeating this is? Do you know how hard I work on the damn educational content to try and teach you guys how to do things? Do you think that gets the most action? No, it doesn't at all. It's not even close. I mean, I go back to the screen share here and let's just go back to it. Do you know how far down, okay, I have to scroll in this damn report to get to anything that is like actually professorial content like I'm doing right now, or like I'm lecturing? Like, I've got to go way down there. I got to go way down there. I mean, I'm not even in like the top 20, and that's embarrassing, right? But guess what? It's not embarrassing because I'm contrarian and I understand things. I want to show you something. I'm gonna just grab the Kurt Vonnegut one for a sec here, okay? And of course, it's loading and it is taking its sweet time. So this thing got liked 2,854 times. It got 10 comments. It got 814 sends. So that's people copying the link, sending it somewhere else, sharing it. And then this little mark here is the bookmark. Okay. 796 bookmarks. So individual accounts this reached was 23,554. Okay. Accounts engaged was 3,381. Profile activity, whatever. Here's like one of the interesting kickers. And so this piece of content was so successful, you guys, that it reached 12,000 followers, and Instagram went and showed it to 10,767 people that don't even follow us. Okay. That don't even follow us. All right. And these stats are just staggering, right? They're staggering, like post interactions, the likes, comments, shares, all of it. And I got 81 followers. Okay. And 196 people hit the profile on this particular one. Do you realize how staggering that is for one individual piece of content, which was really just a quote on top of Kurt Vonnegut's face? Kurt Vonnegut's not even an author, or not even an artist. He's an author. Like, that's crazy, right? So what's really, really interesting about this, what I want to rant on this, and I want to come back and show you something else, okay, is the following. Okay, is the following. We know, all right, we know that this whole thing is a game. I'm sorry, it is just a game. Okay. Our job, art storefronts, your job, why I'm teaching you this, artist and photographer, okay, is to be a fisherman. That's what we are. We're just fishermen. We are both going down to the docks every day. You and I, we're meeting at Starbucks. We're getting the coffee. You pick me up. We're driving down to the dock together, and we're both getting in our boats. And because we're fishermen, what is our job? Okay. Our job is to drive to where the fish are. Okay. My job is to drive the boat to where the fish are. The fish are artists and photographers. Your job is to drive the boat to where the fish are. For you, it's anybody but artists and photographers, because the joke is like only artists and photographers ever follow artists and photographers. But your job is to drive the boat, okay, to where potential buyers of your art are. And it's okay to be contrarian about that. It's okay to understand that is a job, that is a game. If we were fishermen, we would be studying the tides, and we'd be studying water temperature, and we'd be studying what's going on with various different weather patterns, and we would be sitting on top of the bridge looking for where the fish are, looking where the bird activity is, right, so we can find the fish, or look for a floating log. All these tricks that fishermen apply such that they can get to the fish, right? In our case, marketing and social media, we have to realize we have to play these same stupid games. It's just the tradecraft of how you get attention in today's day and age. And Instagram is telling us conclusively that if you send me the engagement stuff, okay, the stuff that gets high engagement, I am going to go show all the rest of your content to all of those people, meaning the actual art content, right? The whole thing is just a game. I'm just playing the game. I know at the end of the day that despite the fact I think these things are silly, okay, and I do, that people love sharing them. They love talking about them. That they make a huge impact. I mean, look at how many different ones we've got. A Dali one, we've got a Picasso one. I don't even know who some of these ones are. My team puts them together. You know, there's an Albert Einstein one. These ones are getting the crazy engagement. These are the ones that are getting the crazy engagement, that are driving people nuts, that are allowing more people to see the art storefronts content. Okay. That's point number one. For us, that means my team has to keep making these quote tiles, because this is what drives people nuts. For you, okay, for you have to share some content that is not your art. Okay. I don't care what it is. Do not tell me that you do not live an interesting life. We are, all of us, living interesting lives. Some of them funny, some of them sad, some of them in between, and everything in between. You have to share a little bit about that stuff. When you share a little of that stuff, okay, what ends up happening is it becomes the most engaged content you've shared. And then Instagram and Facebook go and show your artistic content to more and more people. It is a profound, profound thing. And once you start doing it, you're like, oh my gosh, that art storefronts guy was right. Now I'm getting way more action on my art and my photography because I am just listening to what he says and following it. Why didn't I do this earlier? Right? Why didn't I do this earlier? One additional thing that I want to show everybody why I've got the screen share up, because this is also a profound thing. It's one of the things that infuriates me. Okay. We think in our mind, artists and photographers, that our profile grid, right? What our profile looks like with all those images on it is the most important thing that exists on Instagram, right? Like, how many artists and photographers are running around and, you know, they're doing those elaborate, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 individual images on the profile. I should have had a screenshot of this so you can see what I'm talking about, where all of them make one image, right? And it's really artsy. And they're like, no, I can't post anything else. I've got to keep this thing looking so slick, right? Another beautiful stat that Instagram gives us, okay, that I'm going to show you guys that will boggle your minds, okay, is that what your profile looks like does not matter in the slightest. And I'm talking about, when I say the profile, I'm not talking about your description, what the link is, and what your avatar looks like, and the story highlights. That is important. Below it, your grid of images does not matter at all. No one gives a damn, okay? And especially not Instagram. So I want to show you this. So I'm going to grab the same Kurt Vonnegut, okay? Now, this is a piece of content that's obviously been shared a ton, right? A ton on Instagram. I wonder where people saw it or where they engaged with it. I wonder if Instagram tells us that. And it turns out that it does. And so this particular piece of content, okay, this Kurt Vonnegut piece of content, it got 23,000 impressions total. 22,000 of those were on the home section. Okay. 820 of those were on the other section. 690 were in Explore, and 99 were on the profile. What does that mean? Okay. What does that mean in real terms? What it really means is the only thing that matters are the posts that are inside the feed. That's it. That's it. No one sees any of the rest of the stuff aside from what's in the feed. That's what this was saying is home. It's saying that out of those 23,000 impressions, the vast majority were for people coming into the home tab and scrolling. Some small minority were people on the Explore tab, which was this one. The other tab, I imagine,
terribly dangerous.
I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think is the Reels tab. Your actual profile, though, you guys, the profile, which everyone obsesses about and thinks is like so important what it looks like, i.e. all the content here, was a rounding error. It's a rounding error in all of my content, meaning no one cares. No one discovers what goes on. The behavior that goes on Instagram is the following. People are either on the home tab in Reels because they clicked through into Reels, or they're on Explore and they discover something. And when they discover something, they're like, ooh, this is interesting. Then they click into the profile. They're like, this one has 196,000 followers. I'm going to follow them. Okay. I'm going to follow them. That's interesting. What they're not doing at all is scrolling down like this and discovering stuff like this. That's just not how it goes. And don't get me wrong. I mean, every once in a blue moon, someone does that, but it's clear as day what the data is. And it makes sense. Does this not confirm your own behavior? I mean, this stupid device that is Instagram, when we're using it, right? All it wants you to do is just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Move it along, move it along, move it along, move it along. It's why the bookmarking feature is so popular. You're sitting there looking at your feed, and the machine is messing with your brain, saying, keep moving, I'll keep giving you dopamine hits. And so then you find something you like. And then you click on the profile, just like I did, and then you follow that person, and then it's, get me out of here, I'm going right back to the content, right? Why do I bring all that up? Stop stressing what your damn profile looks like. It's irrelevant. The only thing that you need to worry about is the number of pieces of content that you create per week. Okay. Very important metric that'll make you get better. And understand, artists and photographers, that you need to give a window into your world. What makes you interesting? What makes you tick? Who you are as a human being. It can't be just about your damn art all day long, or you are approaching social media in a naive fashion, and you're never going to get what you want out of it. That's the game, you guys. And it's all just a game. Thanks for watching. Hope you got some value out of that. And I'm going to be going live all week. See you soon.